Okie dokie. Welcome back to Jack of All Trades, Party of None, Anime Review, episode number 4. Well, with this one we're discussing the two most recent episodes released of the series. 8 was released last week, and 9 was released just today. So in episode 8, we kind of have, basically, Orin formally joining the Knight of the Silver Rabbits. May Lieutenant, after some discussion, I'll make a promise, he'll basically protect everything, make sure he'll die. Well, not necessarily for the clan, but he'll die for the members. And they'll probably, he's named Lieutenant right away. And before he's introduced to his party, of course, he has some account management, which, of course, the girl's there. And then we're introduced to, oh boy, the Unit 1 party, the strongest party in the Knight of the Silver Rabbits clan. Unit 1. And when I heard their voices, I'm like, I know you. Oh my gosh. So, the three members are Rain Hodwell, Lograka Otis, and Wilkes Severly. Wilkes Severly, I don't have a credit. I couldn't exactly find who would voice him, but in the case of the other two, oh boy, Rain is voiced by somebody who I'm very familiar with. I've never met her before, but I do know of her. And that person is and this will surprise everybody, Tia Ballard. You're like, what? Tia Ballard? Yeah. I just saw her this year retire. Last one was Rip My Justice Rally. And now the 34th anime I've not heard her in. Great to hear her voice. And I was so happy to finally have a familiar voice actor. There's two more. One I mentioned right now, the other I mentioned a little later. So, and then as the case of Luca, this blonde-haired girl, which I know her voice actor. I've met her a couple times. Not the first blonde she has a voice. Luca. Now, Rain is the mage of the group. Lucera is the healer. Now Lucera is voiced by Monica Real. Yep. Monica Real. I got confirmation as I read about this. Yep. And now the, oh my gosh, 54th anime. Yeah. 54th. I'm like, damn. When I saw Monica last year, she was like, really? You've seen that much with me in it? She was shocked. I think the last anime I saw before I saw her last year, I think it was probably Apothecary Diaries, maybe? Actually, it was one of the ones, but excuse me. But obviously, great to see her here. And if they introduce themselves, now they do mention that Rain is the eldest at, I think she's 24. Lukua is 18. Now Wilkes is 20. And then mention, mention we need a sword. Let's go see the blacksmith. And the blacksmith is voiced by Christopher Sabat. I'm like, oh my gosh, another voice actor. I'm guessing Crunchyroll may have been receiving a little bit of complaints when the dub started. Can we have some familiar voice actors here? I mean, not just me about this. I'm sure a lot of people were complaining about this online. I guess they must figured out, okay, let's put some names people have heard of. And Monica Real, Tia Ballard, Christopher Sabat. I'm like, that is so cool. I find that awesome. And oh yeah, I mentioned we need a sword, so you just happen to have the black scale. So of course this is a scale to try and kill a member of the party named Albert year prior. So episode 8 is you just saw these characters, and then preparing to go into the actual dungeon, which they do the very next day in the very next episode, which they take on you're in dungeon and take on 2 earth dragons. Yes, he does detect them. Now I saw these earth dragons. I'm like, those are not earth dragons. I look at these things. They look like velociraptors. Now, I've seen what earth dragons look like. Usually they're just wingless dragons. Big ones. And they've heard of these as earth dragons. Kind of silly. And then we also have a tortoise that goes invisible. I thought that was kind of weird. So you have Oren and also Sybil. Not Sybil. What was her name here? Selma has the ability of telepathy. Yep. And like, okay, so the coordinated attacks beat them, and then they had the welcome party where then, of course, where basically Rain and Selma both get drunk. Selma, of course, over next to him, and she's like, "Oh, your E's on the eyes," putting her finger on his chest, and pushing up her chest against his arm, and then here comes Rain, who does the same thing. He's like, of course, they also poke fun of like her chest size. Of course they do. And normally there's a women doing this, and yeah, and because and of course basically he's the one who pokes fun of her chest size, which I thought that was different. And like, okay, after a little while of them doing this, like I'm like, you lucky bastard to get these two beautiful women to fall for you. He's like, okay, that's enough. He puts them basically both to sleep. Rain, I'm sure, was carried out by Wilkes. In the case of Selma, she's carried by Oren back to her room, or her younger sister, who was, by the way, she's 14, scolds her. Yes, the 14-year-old sister, younger sister, scolds the older sister for drinking too much. And I look at this too, like, yeah, I get easy by this is because these two not only had the same hair color, but their faces was exactly like it. Only did what the other. I guess you could tell like the older and younger sisters because the height and the chest size. And then it kind of hints the fact that Sophia, well, may have a crush on Oren. We also reveal hinting that her sister has got a crush on him. Oh, before I end it here. They do debut a new character here. Yes, a person part of this group known as the Anameyers, and base actually they're calling, but that's what we call here online, and led by a woman named Shion Nostrum, and basically they go talk about the Dragon Slayer, hunting part of the church, and apparently she blames them, the church, for what caused destruction of their village, which according to Oren it was caused by bandits. She thinks it was the church. I'm like, are they depicting the church this series as evil? Interesting. But otherwise though, great 2 episodes. Loved it. And now finished, I'm caught up. But before I watch Mirror Soldier, well, I'm gonna watch one more anime tonight. And that one anime is gonna be Chain Soldier. That's next. And then after that, I'm going to have to call it a night because I have to save the other anime for tomorrow. Hopefully Jujutsu Kaisen comes out because it did not come out last week, so maybe come out tomorrow. Also tomorrow, we'll resume watching Ryu Soldier. Okay? So, that's pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. See you next video.